My girlfriend Willow never could have imagined in her wildest dreams that after she got into a car accident and lost her memory trying to save me, I would turn around and dump her without hesitation just to go home and agree to an arranged marriage. All because I'd overheard a conversation between her and her best friend. She had pretended to lose her memory just so she could be with her new fling out in the open. If that was the case, then I figured I might as well let go. But who would have thought? On the day of my engagement, she'd burst into the venue yelling, all of this was a carefully planned conspiracy. Mom, I've decided to come home and agree to the arranged marriage. I stared out the window and spoke calmly. You finally dumped that girlfriend of yours? I told you long ago she's no good, but you wouldn't listen. My mom complained, but I could tell she was clearly happy. All right then, since you've come to your senses, come back soon. The wedding's in half a month. I've looked into the girl. She's reliable. Okay, I got it. After hanging up, I looked around at the home Willow and I had shared for 5 years. I still couldn't understand. How could she not be a good woman? She had loved me so deeply before. Back in college, Willow had pursued me for 4 whole years. Rain or shine, she was always there, always willing to help. We got together the year we graduated and moved to Sea City to start our life. In those 5 years, our home had filled up with the gifts she gave me. She was a science and engineering major who hated writing, but after we got together, she started keeping a journal every day to record our happiness. 3 months ago, we were in a car crash. She had pulled me behind her to protect me and got hit by the car instead. Willow had been willing to sacrifice her life for me. How could she not love me? But she really didn't love me anymore. At first, she told me she had amnesia, that the accident caused memory loss. I felt incredibly guilty and swore to help her recover her memories. I took her back to all the places we had been, told her the story behind every item in our home, read our journals to her again and again. Still, Willow couldn't remember a thing. Seeing me upset, she looked at me guiltily and said, George, I know this hurts you. I don't want you to be sad. It makes me feel awful too. Maybe we should just break up. See? Even if she didn't remember me, she still cared about my feelings. She had loved me so deeply, how could I bear to leave her? I wiped my tears and kept trying harder. And then one day, I saw her walk into a hotel with another man. When I confronted her, Willow looked annoyed. I told you, I don't remember anything. You can't expect me to be loyal to a total stranger, can you? In that moment, I was devastated. I even started to question myself. Was I wrong for pushing her?
Should I just let go?
Should we really break up? But then Willow hugged me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I just thought maybe if I tried being with someone else, my memory might come back. It's not like I chose to forget. Right, she had lost her memory for me. So I forgave her. Again. And I tried even harder to help her recover. As long as she remembered, the Willow who loved me would return. I could forgive a physical betrayal, as long as her heart still belonged to me. That's how we lived for 2 more months. And during that time, Willow cheated on me several more times. I was already numb from the pain. I just kept hoping she'd remember. She had loved me so much. Maybe when she did remember, she'd cry and beg for forgiveness, saying she felt dirty. But I never got to see her memory return. Instead, I got the truth. Last night, Willow went out drinking. When I found her, she was chatting with an old friend, Maria. Before I could make sense of it, their conversation hit me like a truck. Heard you lost your memory? Of course not. George is going nuts trying to help you recover. You were faking it? Damn, girl, that's wild. What's your endgame, though? Under the dim lights, Willow took a sip of her drink and smiled. Spending your whole life with just one guy? What's the fun in that? This way's perfect. He stays because he feels guilty, and I get to have fun however I want. I couldn't hear anything after that. I turned around and left like a soulless shell. She lied to me. She never had amnesia. All those affairs weren't confusion. She just didn't want to be tied down. She thought life with me was boring. She just wanted to play around. So what did all my efforts mean? What was the point of reading those journals aloud again and again? Of crying while forgiving betrayal after betrayal? Was I a fool, or was she just incredibly manipulative? I cried on the side of the road like a joke. But the Willow who would once come and hold me, take me home, she was long gone. Now she was someone reveling in her nightlife.
I don't even remember how I got home.
All I know is that after a sleepless night, I called my mother and agreed to the marriage. I was 27. It was time to get married anyway. Just then the door opened. Willow walked in, still wearing last night's outfit, her pretty face full of impatience. The scent of alcohol still clung to her, Another wild night, clearly. She suddenly started walking toward me. Was chasing you back then. No matter rain or shine, she'd show up under your dorm every single day. There was one time you had sudden food poisoning. She skipped a major competition just to rush you to the hospital. And you two weren't even dating yet. I teased her, saying it was her big chance to shine. She just blushed and said she'd rather never have the chance if it meant you wouldn't get sick. Gosh, she really loved you. Yeah, I nodded. She really had loved me. But that was a long time ago. The Willow who loved me had died a long time ago. Well, if that's your decision, then I won't stop you. I wish you all the happiness in the world. I nodded again, but didn't tell Laura that the woman I was marrying wasn't Willow. There was no us anymore. Laura approved my resignation. All that was left was to finish handing over my work before I left for good. As I passed by Willow's office, I saw a new intern walk in. Click. The door locked behind him. A moment later, there was a loud thud, like someone bumping into the door. Then another shadow leaned in close. I laughed quietly to myself, of course. Willow was never one to deny herself pleasure or comfort, no matter the situation. Between the two of us, the one left crying was always me. That night, Willow didn't come home until it was very late. I hadn't gone to bed. I sat in the living room waiting for her. Willow raised her eyebrows, seemingly in a very good mood. Oh, so you finally realized you were wrong? Not throwing a tantrum anymore? Since you waited up for me this late, I'll forgive. Willow, move out. I interrupted her. I'll give you half a month. Find a place and move out. The reason I waited for Willow tonight was just to tell her this. Now that I didn't want to say anything else. Willow's face instantly turned very ugly. Her hand trembled slightly. She looked furious. Finally, she couldn't hold it in anymore. She raised her hand and slapped me hard across the face. My head tilted to the side from the blow. George, are you crazy? You dare tell me to move out? She shouted angrily. Don't forget, it was you who begged me to move in, begged me to live with you. And now you want to kick me out? But it's not the past anymore. I took the slap without flinching. There was no longer any shame or hesitation. I'm going to sell this apartment, I said calmly. I'm being kind by telling you in advance so you have time to move. The one I loved was the Willow who had her memories. That's not you. My promises to her have nothing to do with you. And besides, didn't you say you lost your memory? Then how would you know it was me who begged you to move in? I said that and turned back toward the bedroom. Only half a month left. Everything would soon be over. Willow chased after me into the bedroom. You just said half a month. Does that mean I can do whatever I want in this house for the next half month? I was already very tired and didn't understand what she meant by that. I nodded and pulled the blanket over my head. I only heard Willow let out a cold laugh. George, well done. I'll make sure you regret this. At that time, I still didn't understand what Willow meant, until that night when I came home from work and opened the door. I saw a man. It was Makoto, the new intern from Willow's department. He was wearing my slippers and apron on, cooking in the kitchen. Willow was leaning against the kitchen doorway, looking at him with love in her eyes. When Makoto saw me, he looked a bit surprised. He asked, Babe, who's this? Roommate, Willow answered casually. Then she walked up to me. From now on, you'll sleep in the guest room, okay, roommate? Sure. I smiled. Now I understood what Willow meant when she said I'd regret it. But no, I wouldn't regret it. Willow had underestimated me. If I regret anything, it's that I was once so stupid that I didn't see through her sooner. If you're Willow's roommate, then join us for dinner, Makoto said with a bright smile. He had just graduated from university this year, and his smile looked so pure. Maybe he really liked Willow, so he believed everything she said. He hadn't noticed all the signs around the house that a couple had lived here. Matching cups, matching bowls, even the aprons and slippers were couples' versions, not to mention the countless framed photos around. Despite all the obvious proof, Willow could still say, just roommates, so confidently. She really was. I smiled again, once more marveling at Willow's shamelessness. No need to eat. Since he's going to live here, I'll move out. Wouldn't want to inconvenience you two. As I said that, I actually pulled a suitcase out of the storage room. I wasn't planning to stay long in Sea City anyway. Finding a random hotel was better than staying here, watching two lovebirds act all sweet. You're really leaving? Willow suddenly raised her voice. She didn't even bother to keep up the act anymore. George, what kind of temper tantrum is this? Her delicate brows furrowed. She was visibly annoyed. I worked all day. I'm exhausted. Do you know that? Can you stop with the drama already? I'm not throwing a tantrum. I felt a bit powerless. There were so many things I wanted to say, but I realized there was no point. I wanted to say, you were the one who betrayed me first. You were the one who pretended to lose your memory to fool me. I wanted to say, I'm not throwing a fit. I truly want to leave. But what's the point of saying any of that? Just then, there was a knock at the door. I turned to open it, and the person standing there was Maria, but she didn't even look at me. Her eyes went straight to Makoto, who stood beside Willow in an apron. Maria instantly became excited. Kaito, when did you come back? Why are you here? What are you talking about? This is Makoto. You've got the wrong person. Willow quickly cut her off. Huh? Maybe I did. Maria looked embarrassed, but she couldn't help staring at Makoto. No, seriously, he looks way too similar. I didn't even know who this Kaito Maria mentioned was. But ever since Maria arrived, Willow had put away her usual impatience. She turned to Makoto and smiled sweetly. Darling, look, my friend came to see me. Why don't you head home for now? I'll make it up to you properly another day, okay? Sure, whatever you say. Makoto smiled, not minding at all that their date had been interrupted. He took off his apron, put on his coat, and left with ease. Maria suddenly realized she might have intruded and looked a little awkward. Did I just interrupt something? No, Willow smiled. But what brings you here all of a sudden? I knew they probably wanted to talk, so I didn't stay. I turned and went into the bedroom. At that moment, Willow tried to cover things up unnecessarily. She says she was my high school classmate. I thought chatting with her might help me recover my memory faster. I almost laughed. At this point, was there really still a need to lie? The fake concern was laughable, but I just nodded. All right, you two chat. Behind me, Maria had already begun lowering her voice, but I still clearly heard her words. I came by because I heard you were faking your amnesia. Figured I'd drop by to see the drama for myself. But hey, what's with that guy just now? Oh, just an intern from the company. Kind of interesting. That night, I still slept in the guest room, leaving the master bedroom to Willow and Maria. Later, I got up to use the bathroom and found that Willow and Maria were still chatting. Maybe they thought I was already asleep because they weren't keeping their voices down. And that's how I clearly heard Maria say, I saw Makoto today and he looks so much like Kaito. For a second, I really thought Kaito had come back. How did you end up messing with someone like that? Wait, do you still like Kaito? I suddenly froze mid-step, an unexpected wave of dread washing over me. It always seemed to be like this. At the most random moments, I'd overhear truths I couldn't bear to know, and yet my instincts always told me I had to hear them. Of course not. Willow paused for a moment before speaking again. I really didn't like Kaito anymore back then. And when I got together with George, I genuinely liked him too. But you know what? As the years have gone by, I felt more and more like being with George is just boring. I'm tired of it. He even proposed to me recently. The moment I imagined spending the rest of my life with him, I felt scared. So that's why you pulled the whole amnesia act? Girl, you really went all in, Maria said with a sigh. What about Makoto then? What's going on there? He's not a stand-in for Kaito, Willow said after a moment. Maybe I just like that type. That statement was as good as a direct admission that she did like Makoto. I suddenly let out a bitter laugh. Yeah, she'd already made it obvious, hadn't she? All the others were just taken to hotels. But Makoto, he'd been brought home. That Kaito must have been Willow's ex or someone she had feelings for in the past, but she'd never mentioned him to me. All these years, and she'd still kept secrets from me. I never noticed a thing. The worst part? Willow was tired of me. I gave a silent, I gave a bitter smile. Maybe I really was just that dull of a person. No wonder she found life with me boring. It was my mediocrity that made all her other lovers, past and present, seem so vivid in comparison. In the end, it wasn't that those other men had won against me. It was that I had lost to Willow. Quietly, I went back to the bedroom, pretending I hadn't heard anything. I had already given up anyway, hadn't I? When I woke up the next morning, Maria had already left. Only Willow and I were left in the apartment. I finally opened my mouth. Willow, honestly, there's no need for you to do all this. Willow raised an eyebrow. What? You finally realize you were wrong? That you shouldn't have been so moody with me? She walked over with a bright, teasing smile, wrapping her arms around my neck. See? Even if I lost my memory, I still love you. You know what that is? That's instinct. I love you this much, and you're still picking fights with me. You're such a heartless man. I shook my head helplessly and gently pushed her away. What I meant was, when I said 2 days ago that you should move out, I meant it. We've already broken up. Her expression froze. I gave you ample time to find a new place, I continued, my tone calm but firm. So next time, don't tell anyone I'm your roommate. My current title should be your ex-boyfriend. Fine, whatever. Willow sneered coldly. She raised her hand as if she was about to slap me again, but this time she stopped herself. I simply looked at her with calm eyes, so calm it might have seemed indifferent. It was as if nothing Willow did could ever change anything in me anymore. I had once seen how she looked when she truly loved me, and I had loved that version of her too, but the Willow standing before me no longer loved me. I didn't know why. She refused to let me go even after falling out of love, but I was done tolerating her behavior. George, you're being such a jerk. You'll regret she snapped. She glared at me stubbornly, but her eyes began to redden uncontrollably. Almost instinctively, I wanted to pull her into a hug, to comfort her, to tell her not to cry. But then I remembered her lies, her betrayal, her so-called feelings for Makoto. Or maybe it was always Kaido in her heart. I fought back the instinct. I didn't want to show even a shred of tenderness to Willow anymore. I gave a faint smile. Who are you planning to bring home this time? Do you really think this kind of act can still get to me? Willow, do whatever you want. Bring home someone new every day if that's what makes you happy. I won't care anymore. We're done. You're breaking up with me just because I lost my memory? Willow's voice trembled with fury. She looked at me as if I were the heartless one. You're unbelievable. She threw the words at me and stormed out of the apartment, so angry she didn't even bother changing out of her slippers. I watched her back disappear down the hallway and sighed silently. For a moment, it almost seemed like she still loved me. But how many people had she said that same love to? It felt fake. I couldn't take it anymore. Over the next few days, Willow didn't come home. I didn't care. She had plenty of other places to go. That night, just after I left the office, I got a call from an unfamiliar number. When I picked up, it turned out to be Maria. George, Willow's drunk. Come pick her up. She quickly gave me the name of a bar and hung up before I could say anything, almost like she was afraid I might refuse. I sighed. Willow had so many flings, both new and old. Why did she call me after getting drunk? But I still went. The bar was dimly lit. I frowned as I weaved my way through the crowded booths until I spotted Willow, completely wasted. Maria looked visibly relieved when she saw me. She's your problem now. I've got things to do. I'm heading out. She practically bolted away like she was fleeing from something. I couldn't help but feel like Maria was somehow afraid of me. I didn't dwell on it. I patted Willow gently on the back and spoke softly. Come on, I'll take you home. Willow groggily opened her eyes and wrapped her arms around my neck. I hate you, she mumbled. I nodded. Just as I was about to lift her up, a drunk at the next table suddenly caused a commotion. A beer bottle flew toward me, but before it could hit, Willow shielded me with her body. She was already drunk, and that blow knocked her out cold. I froze. My whole body stiffened as a chill crept up from deep inside me, paralyzing me. The last time I'd felt that kind of fear was 3 months ago, during the car accident with Willow. I couldn't even begin to imagine what I would do if something happened to her again. I quickly pulled myself together, scooped her into my arms, and rushed her to the hospital. After a round of tests, the doctor calmly told me the blow hadn't caused any serious injury. She was going to be fine. Only then did I finally exhale in relief. Since she was safe, I could breathe again. By the time I brought Willow home, it was already deep into the night. I was utterly drained. I just wanted to rest. I laid her gently on the bed and turned to leave the room. That's when I noticed her phone lying on the floor. I picked it up and froze. Several unread messages from Maria were lighting up the screen. "Are you okay? Was my aim good? Did George believe you? Sis, update me when you can. I'm anxious as hell." It felt like a lightning bolt struck me. That bottle earlier. It was Maria who threw it? What was she trying to make me believe? What kind of twisted drama was this supposed to be? I had been terrified for her just moments ago, and now it turned out I'd been deceived again. "Willow, what the hell do you take me for?" I muttered under my breath. "How can you lie to me like this again and again? What else am I supposed to believe in? What exactly are you trying to do?" Frustration surged through me, but there was no one left to talk to. Numbly, I walked into the bathroom. When I came out again, I was suddenly pulled into a tight embrace before I could react. At some point, Willow had woken up. Her eyes were red, and the moment she touched me, tears began to fall. She looked devastated, like she was at her breaking point. "George, I'm sorry," she sobbed. I remember everything now. In that moment, I understood. This whole charade, the bottle, the fake accident, everything, was all about regaining her memory. Willow clung to me as if she loved me more than anyone in the world. But how can real love come with betrayal? How can love involve lies? That's not love at all. I didn't say a word. I didn't even know how to respond. Should I put on a joyful act and say, "Darling, you finally got your memory back. We've made it through the worst"? Or should I lash out and shout, "Willow, do you think I'm a fool? That you can lie to me however you want and I'll keep falling for it? Do I look brainless to you?" Both reactions would have made sense, but I was just too tired. The exhaustion from deep inside left me with no strength to respond at all. I didn't want to. I couldn't. Seeing no reaction from me, Willow looked hurt. She buried her head in my chest. "George, I know I've done a lot of horrible things lately. Do you think you can't forgive me?" "I'm sorry. I don't even know why I acted that way. I was scared when I lost my memory. I didn't do it on purpose. But now that I've remembered everything, I promise you, those things will never happen again. Please forgive me, okay?" Still, I said nothing. Willow's move was predictable by now. After I'd told her firmly that I wanted to break up, she must have realized she had gone too far. So she staged this elaborate act about regaining her memory. To be honest, her acting was good. Good enough to almost make me believe it. Good enough to become a professional actress. If I hadn't seen the truth with my own eyes, I might have actually believed her performance. The thought of myself being played like a fool made me feel utterly ridiculous. I gently pushed Willow away and said flatly, "Okay. What kind of attitude is that?" Willow looked flustered. "Aren't you happy I got my memory back? Or are you still mad about what happened before? I know what I did was wrong back then, but you said before you'd forgive me for everything." "I didn't say I wouldn't forgive you." I pushed her away again. "I'm just really tired today. I want to rest." With that, I turned and walked into the guest bedroom. After all, there were only 7 days left until I left for good. Whatever Willow wanted to do now, I no longer cared. The next morning, to my surprise, Willow had made a full table of breakfast. I hadn't seen her this sweet and eager to please since the early days, back when she was still chasing after me. Now she looked completely devoted, like she loved me with all her heart. "Darling," she said softly, "back when I lost my memory, you read me your diary every day to help me remember. The more I think about it, the more I realize how deeply in love we were back then. How about we visit our old college? I can take a few days off. Let's relive those happy times just like before. Wouldn't that be nice?" Willow looked at me expectantly. I should have refused. This woman, with her fake affection and carefully constructed lies, what was there left to hold on to? But Willow was the only woman I had ever truly loved in all these years. Even if this was the end, then let me indulge myself, just this once. I nodded. Sure. Day 1, we went back to our alma mater. Like ordinary college students, we walked hand in hand across the campus, even sneaked into the cafeteria to eat a meal there. Willow laughed with such pure joy that I couldn't help but laugh along with her. At the same time, all company matters were wrapped up. I had officially resigned without issue. Day 2. We visited the park where we had our first date. Same walk, same smiles, same happiness as years ago. That night, I deleted every single photo of us from all the years we'd been together, even the ones stored in the cloud. Everything gone. Day 4. We watched the sunrise from the mountaintop. Willow leaned against my chest. Thinking I was asleep, she casually replied to flirtatious messages from Makoto, right in front of me. So it turned out anyone could be called darling. I acted like I hadn't seen it. I didn't feel pain anymore anyway. Day 7. In the rose garden, Willow suddenly pulled out a ring, her eyes glistening with tears. We've been together for 5 years, she said. We really love each other. Time has proven it. I want to marry you. Will you? I didn't reply. 3 months ago, right here in this very spot, I had proposed to her, only for her to get so scared she staged an entire fake amnesia drama. And now she was proposing marriage? What was the point of this? I gave her a faint smile. Can I tell you my answer tomorrow? All right. Willow looked a little disappointed but didn't press further. Our short vacation ended and we returned home. What Willow didn't know was tonight would be our last night together. Her phone vibrated nonstop. I already knew it was Makoto. She had spent these 7 days with me, which meant Makoto had been ignored for 7 days. Of course, he'd be making a fuss. Sure enough, Willow looked at me cautiously. Maria asked me to come out. Go ahead, I said calmly, even handing her the bag myself. Wait for me. I'll be back soon, Willow said with conviction, as if she'd made up her mind about something. I said nothing. I wouldn't be waiting. After she left, I quietly began packing away everything that held memories of us. Things that once symbolized happiness and love had become nothing but trash. Turns out 5 years of memories can be cleared away in just 3 hours. When I finished, the only things left in the apartment were Willow's. Once she moved out and the place got sold, it would really be over. By sunrise, Willow still hadn't come back. Good. Saved me the trouble of a meaningless goodbye. At 8 a.m., I took a cab to the airport. As I boarded the plane, a slow smile spread across my face. Finally, it was all over. Willow, we don't ever have to see each other again. Willow walked through the door just 5 minutes past 8. In her hands was a box of dumplings from my favorite little shop. At this time of day, I would normally be up already. She needed to be fast. If I'd already eaten breakfast, her thoughtful gesture would go to waste. But what Willow never expected was that when she opened the door, what greeted her wasn't me waiting for her, like always, but a home half emptied. Some changes were just too obvious, so obvious she couldn't ignore them. The couple's portrait we had taken 2 years ago, which once hung directly across the entrance, was gone. We had once said we'd replace it with our wedding photo. The shoe cabinet no longer held my shoes. Willow's hand trembled. The box of dumplings slipped from her fingers and fell to the floor. The packaging split open, and the lovingly prepared breakfast turned into a mess. But Willow didn't even glance at it. She rushed straight into the bedroom. No one there. She checked the study, the guest room, the bathroom, the kitchen. She searched every corner of the apartment at lightning speed, but found no trace of me. My clothes were gone. The cabinet in the living room where we kept gifts for each other and our photo albums was empty. That person and everything tied to him was gone. But that didn't make sense. We were just fine yesterday. She even proposed to me. Sure, I didn't say yes, but I told her I'd give her my answer today. Was this the answer? George! What is the meaning of this? You owe me an explanation. Panic overtook Willow. Choking back tears, she pulled out her phone and dialed my number over and over again, but all she heard was the same cold, mechanical voice. The number you have dialed is unavailable. Please try again later. After a long while, it slowly dawned on Willow. She had been blocked. She opened her social apps, and sure enough, there it was. A red exclamation mark. Many couples, especially young ones, often use breakups as a way to test each other's love. Just look at Maria. In 1 year of dating, she had broken up and gotten back together with her boyfriend multiple times. But in 5 years, Willow and I had never broken up. Not even once. And we had never blocked each other. I wasn't the type to play games. So if I blocked someone, it meant I was done. If I said we were breaking up, it meant we really were. No. You can't just say you don't want me and then actually leave. You can't do this, Willow snapped, tears spilling down her face. She turned and ran out the door. It was a weekday. Even if I had broken up with her and moved out, I still had to go to work, right? I don't care what stunt you're pulling, George. I'll forgive you. As long as you're still with me, I'll forgive you. She kept muttering to herself like she was trying to brainwash her own heart, as if repeating it enough would make it true. As if I'd appear beside her again and tell her we were still in love. She floored the gas pedal all the way, running 2 red lights without even noticing. In a daze, Willow stood frozen, but nothing else mattered to her anymore. She rushed straight into my office, only to find it completely empty. Just then, Laura happened to walk by. Hey, Willow, what are you doing here? Where's George? Willow's voice suddenly rose. Right now, she looked almost frightening. Where's George? Don't you know? He quit, Laura replied, blinking in surprise. He said he was getting married. What happened between you two? Getting married? I see. Willow's lips trembled slightly, but she forced a smile. We're fine. Everything's great, she replied quickly, then turned and left, not even caring that she was skipping work today. George was getting married. That must mean he was accepting her proposal. If that was the case, then why did he move out? Could it be because she had brought Makoto back into that home? Willow convinced herself that must be it. It had to be. George, you get jealous so easily, don't you? She muttered with a soft chuckle. But that just means you care. It's okay, I forgive you. You love me so much you even took the gifts we gave each other when you moved out. Just for that, I forgive you. There was no way she was going back to work today. Willow headed home once again. But just as she approached the building, something in the trash bins caught her eye. Her heart skipped a beat. She walked closer. Sitting right at the top of the garbage pile was a stuffed bear, over a meter tall. Wasn't that the same bear George had bought her 3 years ago? Why was it in the trash? And that wasn't all. She saw more things. Photos of her and George, the gifts they exchanged, his toothbrush, slippers, his towel. So many things, all in the trash. They weren't taken. They were thrown away. What about her? Was she being thrown away too? Tears streamed down Willow's face like rain. The nearby cleaning lady was startled. Miss, are you okay? She asked. These... I'm taking them back, Willow choked out. These were hers. What gave George the right to just throw them out? How could he do that? But they're all dirty, the cleaning lady said hesitantly. Willow froze. She looked up, and sure enough, the bear that used to be soft and clean was now stained and grimy, just like a once beautiful relationship, now tainted. Even if she forced herself to pull it back out, cleaned and sanitized it thoroughly, the thought would still linger. It was once in the trash, covered in filth. How could she ever hug it again without feeling disgusted? It was such a simple truth, and in that moment, Willow finally understood. It wasn't just those once-loving mementos that had been abandoned. It was their relationship. It was her. George, you can't do this to me, she whispered hoarsely. I made mistakes. You can yell at me, punish me, but you can't just throw me away. The cleaning lady was frightened. The young woman before her was crying and saying things she couldn't understand. She wanted to comfort her, but didn't know where to start. But Willow didn't need anyone else's comfort. She stubbornly pulled those dirty gifts and photos out of the trash. It's fine, she told herself. I'll wash them. They'll be clean again. As she scrubbed, her tears wouldn't stop. She truly regretted everything. But what could she do now? After finishing, Willow sat numbly on the couch, completely lost. Then, there was a knock at the door. Willow's heart leapt. She ran to the door in a rush. It must be George. He came back. He regretted it. I knew it. I knew he couldn't really leave me. But when the door opened, standing outside were 2 unfamiliar men. They introduced themselves politely. Hello, we're from the agency. The property owner has commissioned us to sell this apartment. You must be Miss Liu, right? Mr. Wang asked us to let you know. Please move out as soon as possible. George is selling the apartment? Willow's voice was filled with despair. George is actually selling this place? How could he do this to me? The agents looked visibly awkward. Before they came, the owner had already warned them. Someone was still living in the apartment, and they'd need to persuade her to leave before the place could be sold. But the commission for the listing was double the market rate, so the agents had no choice but to come anyway. The woman before them looked educated and composed. Surely she would be reasonable. Miss, we're just acting on behalf of the owner. He's decided to sell the property, so naturally the apartment has to go. May we ask when you plan to move out? If he wants to sell it, then sell it to me. Willow quickly calmed herself. This is our home. I won't let him sell it. Her mind drifted back to 5 years ago when we had just started dating. We had both just graduated from college, both still living in rented apartments. When Willow shyly brought up the idea of moving in together, I had firmly said no. Back then, she was hurt, thinking I didn't want to live with her. But then I told her seriously, not until I buy a home. And I meant it. Just 2 weeks later, I bought this place, with help from my family for the down payment. Willow had been deeply moved. This man said he'd give her a home, and he really did. I didn't just talk about love. I acted on it. We lived here together for nearly 5 years. This wasn't just a property, it was our home. How could he just sell it? Are you serious about buying it? One of the agents asked again. Willow nodded with conviction. Yes, I'll buy it. She had some savings from work over the years. Even if she couldn't afford it outright, she'd take out a loan or borrow the money. She would not let someone else take this place. After she sent the agents away, Willow pulled out her phone and started calling mutual friends, one by one. Do you know where George is? Can you get in touch with him? Finally, after the 8th call, she got an answer. Wait, you didn't know? The voice on the other end said. He's getting married today. I thought he was marrying you. What the hell is going on? The friend was from our college days. Willow's hand trembled and her phone slipped to the floor, but the voice on the other end was still perfectly clear. I saw it on his old roommate's social media. He said George was getting married today. Isn't it with you? Can you tell me where the wedding is being held? This was the second time Willow had heard that I was getting married. Maybe Laura had misunderstood earlier. But now there was evidence on social media. Could it be true? Was George really getting married? But to whom? He's my boyfriend! How could he be marrying someone else? This is impossible! Moments later, Willow found the social media post. It was an electronic wedding invitation, with the hotel's location pinned. Yes, George was definitely getting married. A wave of pain crashed down on Willow so intense she couldn't even breathe. After years of being together, she of course knew that my family lived in a city. But to leave without saying a word? To just disappear and go get married? George, how could you do this to me? I won't let you marry someone else. You're my boyfriend. If you're getting married, it can only be with me. Willow made a snap decision and bought the earliest flight she could find. By the time she arrived in City A, it was already 2 in the afternoon. She grew increasingly anxious, and as soon as she got off the plane, she rushed into a cab headed for the hotel. It was rush hour and they got stuck in traffic. While waiting, Willow kept sending messages to George's chat, even though he had already blocked her. She kept hoping. What if? What if George suddenly unblocked her? Then he would see her messages, wouldn't he? George, you're not allowed to marry someone else. I'm telling you, you can't marry anyone else. I know I messed up. You can punish me however you want, but you can't marry someone else. You proposed to me. You said you wanted to marry me. How can you go back on your word? But hope was just that, hope. That glaring red exclamation mark never disappeared. He hadn't unblocked her. When Willow finally arrived at the hotel, the wedding seemed to have already started. Without an invitation, she was stopped at the entrance and could only plead with the security guard. I'm a friend of the groom. His name is George, right? He knows me. Please, I'm begging you, just tell him I'm here. If he knows it's me, he'll definitely come out to see me. Miss, I'm really not trying to be difficult. But if you're really a friend of the groom, then you should be able to contact him. Just ask him to come pick you up, right? The guard looked troubled. It was someone's big day. If he let in someone who might cause trouble and ruin the wedding, he could lose his job. Besides, the girl in front of him looked disheveled. She really might be here to stir up drama. Willow begged until her lips were dry, but the guard still wouldn't let her in. At that moment, the wedding ceremony was being live-streamed onto a large screen outside the hotel. The guard pointed at the screen. Look, you can watch it from here. It's the same thing. Willow's face instantly went pale. On the screen, the couple was exchanging rings and the smiling groom. Wasn't that George? Just yesterday, he had still been her boyfriend. They were so happy and in love. They had gone home together, so how could he be marrying someone? Willow finally broke down today. She crouched on the ground and burst into tears. George, how can you do this to me? How can you betray me like this? You can't. But her cries, her heartbreak, none of it reached me. Only the security guard beside her stood there silently, thankful that he hadn't let her in. He had already guessed who she was, the groom's ex-girlfriend. No way was he going to let her ruin the wedding. Inside the venue, I had no idea what was happening outside. I followed the steps and completed the final part of the ceremony. I was really married, not to Willow, the girlfriend I had dated for 5 years, but to a woman I had only met for the second time today. Anna. Everything felt surreal, disjointed, like a dream. But it was real. During the toasts, friends couldn't help but comment on how sudden everything was. But of course, no one dared to say such things in front of the bride. Amid the peaceful celebration, a staff member quietly came to my side. After hearing what they had to say, I couldn't help but frown. Still, I couldn't just ignore it. I discreetly explained the situation to Anna, then stepped out of the hotel. At the entrance, Willow was there, trying to force her way inside like she'd lost her mind. She looked completely unhinged, as if she had no sense of reason left. The hotel staff, worried she might do something drastic, had informed me. Seeing Willow again stirred up complicated emotions. I had thought we would never see each other again. We'd been together for years, I knew Willow well. She was always decisive, never one to linger after a breakup. If she got dumped, she'd walk away without looking back. I never expected her to come looking for me. And how had she even found me in such a short amount of time? As soon as Willow saw me, her tears fell even harder. I sighed and pulled her into a quiet corner. I didn't want to become a public joke on a day like this. "Why are you here?" I asked. "What do you mean, George?" "What do you mean by this?" Willow choked out between sobs. "Are you really marrying someone else?" "How could you?" The wedding ring still fresh on my finger, the groom's suit still on my body. She had just seen me exchange rings with another woman. It was a done deal, yet Willow still couldn't accept it. "How could you marry someone else?" "How could you do this to me?" "I already told you," I said softly, feeling both helpless and conflicted. "We broke up. It's over between us. I told you a long time ago." I was calm, but Willow couldn't accept it. She stubbornly insisted, "But the reason you broke up with me was because I lost my memory." "I've recovered now, haven't I? Why are you still breaking up with me? Is it because of what happened before?" I admit I made mistakes, but they were understandable, weren't they? "As long as you don't break up with me, I'll do whatever you want, George." "I'm begging you, don't leave me, please." "Willow, I heard what you said to Maria that day," I said, giving her a bitter smile. Her face went pale. "At the bar that day, you told her you never actually lost your memory. You pulled off this whole drama. You lied to me, just because you thought being with one man your whole life was boring. You just wanted to play around. You wanted novelty, excitement. You thought this setup was perfect. I stayed because I felt guilty, and you were free to do whatever you wanted. You played me for 3 months. Until I found out. Until I told you I wanted to break up. And then you suddenly said your memory was back because you realized you couldn't keep the game going. But Willow, you and I both know, there was never any memory loss. Life isn't some cheesy soap opera. Where do you think all that melodrama actually happens?" I took a deep breath, trying to suppress the bitterness in my chest. "You just wanted to play around. You wanted novelty, excitement. That whole memory loss story was just your excuse. The ridiculous part is I actually believed you at the start." "No, George." Willow tried to defend herself, but I cut her off with a cold, mocking laugh. I kept thinking afterward, how could I have believed you when you clearly never lost your memory? I tried so hard to help you regain it. I read our old journals to you. I pointed to our photos, to every single memory we shared, and told you our story, again and again. And what were you thinking while I did all that? Were you laughing inside? Did you think what a joke this man is? Willow, did you think I was just some fool you could spin around in circles? Did you feel powerful? Like nothing was beyond your control as long as you wanted it badly enough? I spoke word by word, using the most venomous thoughts I could muster to shatter what was left of us. I was deliberately destroying the love we once had piece by piece in the cruelest way possible. This was how disgraceful we had become, how pathetic. There shouldn't have been even a trace of warmth left between us. But I was wrong. I was really wrong. By now, Willow finally stopped harboring any illusions. She stopped disguising everything with lies and pretenses. She sincerely apologized and admitted her mistake. "George, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was just scared back then. You suddenly proposed and I wasn't prepared at all." She was crying again. I just panicked for a moment. I never meant to break up with you. You never meant to break up with me, I said calmly, but you still betrayed me. All those things you did. Do you really think you deserve to be forgiven, Willow? I looked at her, my voice steady but sharp. What if I had done what you did? What if I had gone to hotels with woman after woman? What if I brought my side chick home right in front of you and told her you were just a roommate I shared the rent with? What would you think then? With your temper, you probably would have killed me, right? Willow couldn't argue because with her temper, she really would have done that. Don't even mention the 5 years we were together, even during the 4 years when she was the only one in love, when she was the one pursuing me. If someone else got even slightly close to me, she'd lose her mind. Her possessiveness was that extreme. When she liked someone, she needed that person to belong to her forever. So how did she dare to go so far? Searching her heart, Willow couldn't even recall what gave her the courage to be so reckless, so outrageous. After thinking it over again and again, it seemed there was only one reason. She had lived a life that was too good for too long. She had gotten used to my tenderness, my love. We had been together for so long that she took it for granted, believed that no matter what happened, no matter how bad it got, I would always be hers. Forward as she spoke. My husband and I came to see you today because we were told you were seriously injured in a car accident. Out of basic human decency, we came to check on you, but it seems we were completely overreacting. You clearly didn't need us here. So let me kindly remind you, coveting someone else's husband is wrong. I don't care how loving or happy you two were in the past. That's exactly what it is, the past. If you were really that happy, he wouldn't have married me. Her tone remained calm but firm. He is my husband now. I trust you're not the kind of person who would deliberately try to ruin someone's marriage. Anna smiled again, then added, also, setting someone else's husband as your emergency contact is really quite rude. Please don't do that again. As she finished speaking, Anna gently took my hand. Let's go, darling. All right. I turned around without a shred of hesitation. Every time I saw Willow, I felt exhausted. Whether it was the arguments or the endless rehashing of the past, it all felt pointless. Arguing over who was right or wrong. Arguing over whether we still loved each other. What was the point? There was none. None at all. George, you can't treat me like this. You can't! Willow shouted. You promised you'd marry me. You said you'd never leave me. Willow was devastated, desperately trying to use memories of our past love to pull me back. But I walked away without looking back, absolutely resolute. I didn't care what Willow did after that. Whether she returned to C City or stayed in City A, it no longer had anything to do with me. I threw myself into work at the company, no breaks. My older brother didn't go easy on me just because we're family. A mountain of tasks landed on me, and I had no time or energy left to think about Willow. A month flew by. One evening I came home to find Anna already there, surprisingly earlier than me. She was usually so focused on her career that even during our honeymoon she'd been catching up on work. For the past 2 weeks, she'd been working overtime almost every day. You're back, Anna said warmly, taking my hand and leading me toward the dining table. Come on, let's have dinner. I ordered from a nice restaurant. It should taste pretty good. All right, I said, not refusing. But as I looked down at the dishes laid out on the table, I froze. Every single one of them was my favorite. How did Anna know? I must have been wearing my surprise plainly on my face because she smiled and explained, I asked Mom, but she said you haven't been home much in recent years, so these were things you used to love. She wasn't sure if you still liked them now. I do. Thank you. That's really thoughtful of you, I replied, genuinely touched. I've never been good at handling other people's kindness, least of all Anna's, especially when I could see the complicated emotions flickering in her eyes. I tried to keep my tone casual the way I usually did, brushing it off lightly, but then Anna said quietly, It's not a big effort. When you like someone, doing things to make them happy, why, that's just natural. The words hit me like a punch. I started coughing uncontrollably, nearly burying my face in my bowl. Anna jumped startled and reached over to pat my back. What, am I that scary? Did I shock you that badly? No, it's just... I didn't expect that. I managed, trying to compose myself. Didn't my mom already tell you? Anna asked, tilting her head. She said you've liked me for many years. Anna kept throwing emotional fastballs one after another. I could barely keep up. I stared at her, stunned. while she let out a small, helpless sigh. So, do you want to eat first or hear my story first? Let's eat first, I said, somehow falling into step with her lead. At least I got a proper meal that night. Maybe it was because every dish was exactly to my taste, but Anna's earlier words didn't dampen my appetite in the slightest. After dinner, I instinctively began clearing the table. When I turned around, I noticed Anna holding a large photograph in her hands. I walked closer and saw that it was a class photo, my high school graduation, a full-grade group picture with hundreds of students. I couldn't even tell where I was in the photo, but Anna could. She pointed me out instantly, her finger landing precisely on my face in the crowd. Then she pointed again, this time at someone else. "That one's me," she said. I followed her finger. I was in the top left corner. She was in the bottom right, practically at opposite ends of the diagonal. We'd been so far apart in the picture and in real life too. I had never realized that one of my high school classmates had been Anna. Seeing my blank, confused expression, she shook her head in exasperation. "I knew you wouldn't remember me. But it's okay," she said softly. "I remembered you." Then Anna began her story. It wasn't even a complicated one. The woman standing before me now, beautiful, elegant, poised, intelligent, seemed to embody every possible compliment. But 10 years ago, she hadn't been like that at all. Back in high school, Anna had been shy, overweight, and had a face full of acne. But she also had one thing that often paints a target on someone's back: good grades. People like that always seem to attract resentment for no reason. So inevitably, she became the victim of random cruelty. To adults, teenage bullying is just kids being kids, nothing serious. But for the one caught in the storm, it can feel like the end of the world. One day, Anna had been locked inside the equipment room. It was me, coming back late to return a basketball, who happened to unlock the door and let her out. That was our first meeting. Of course, I didn't remember any of it. 3 months later, Anna had dirty water dumped over her by a group of classmates. I just happened to be walking by that day. Back then, I was known for having a good temper. I rarely argued with anyone. But that day I lost it. I took off my school jacket, draped it over Anna's shoulders, and turned on the bullies with a glare. "If you ever do something like this again," I snapped, "I'm calling the police." Anna looked at me with a soft smile. "Do you know how incredibly handsome you looked back then?" "Sorry, I don't remember," I admitted. To be honest, as Anna spoke, faint fragments of memory stirred, blurry, incomplete. But beyond what she described, I couldn't recall anything else. "That doesn't matter anymore," Anna said, still smiling. "It was just a young girl's secret feelings. And from that moment on, they quietly settled on this one person, you." She paused, her gaze distant. "But back then, I was full of self-doubt. I didn't think I was worthy. So I started working hard to become better. Maybe when you're in a dark place, you cling desperately to anything that gives you hope, just to avoid drowning. You became that thread of hope for me during those 3 years." She told me how she'd learned to fight back when people bullied her. After the college entrance exams, Anna had planned to confess her feelings to me. But something far more dramatic happened instead. "Turns out I was the long-lost daughter of a wealthy family," Anna said, with a crooked, almost sarcastic smile. "For the first 18 years, when I needed them the most, they were nowhere to be found. And when I didn't need them anymore, they showed up. And when they did, they came in hard, controlling every part of my life." She laughed bitterly. "They sent me overseas, saying it was for an elite education. But the truth? They were just ashamed of how I looked at the time. I wasn't good enough for them." She exhaled sharply, her tone hardening. "And I couldn't resist. Whatever they wanted, they made happen. But they never expected that I would use all of that as a stepping stone." During her years abroad, Anna seized every opportunity to rise. She leveraged her family's money, connections, and influence, and soon she built a business of her own. By the time she returned home, she was completely transformed. No longer the ugly duckling she'd once been. "Later, I joined the family company," she continued. "I spent years focused on my career. But my parents still refused to acknowledge me. To them, I'm just a woman, and women are supposed to get married. All my achievements meant nothing. What mattered was that I needed to find a man." Her voice trembled slightly. "I didn't know what to do back then. I didn't want to be handed off to just anyone. I didn't want to go on endless blind dates. Then one day I met your mother. I knew who she was. And I also knew you had a girlfriend." Anna closed her eyes for a moment. "But that's the kind of person I am. Even knowing you had someone, I still wanted to marry you. I told your mom I wanted to propose a marriage alliance. I figured, and if she rejected me, I'd give up. If I got turned down, I'd just marry someone else and be done with it. She gave a small, self-deprecating smile. But after talking to her, she actually said she'd ask you. Her eyes met mine, steady and full of emotion. And what I didn't expect at all was that you said yes. Anna held my gaze, her voice barely above a whisper. George, I like you. It's been 10 years. I've worked so hard just to get to your side. I fell silent. The truth was, the first time Mom brought up the marriage alliance, I said no. Back then, I was still desperately I had only wanted to help Willow recover her memory. I wasn't thinking about anyone else's feelings at all. But fate has its own sense of irony, because the very next day I found out Willow had been lying to me. So I agreed to the marriage alliance. At the time, I truly believed it was just a simple arrangement. I never imagined it would lead me to a woman who had been silently in love with me for 10 years. 10 years. How could I possibly deserve that? I'm sorry, You don't need to apologize. Anna cut me off with a soft smile. You didn't do anything wrong. Why would you need to apologize? My feelings were never your responsibility. In your world, we've only known each other for a month. Her voice was calm, but there was something fragile beneath it. So you don't owe me anything, she continued. I'm telling you all this not because I expect anything from you, I just don't want to hide it. I don't want to lie. I want absolute honesty between us. She looked straight into my eyes. It's okay if you don't like me. For me, marrying the person I love is already the greatest happiness. Anna said it with grace and composure, but I could still see the sadness glimmering behind her eyes. And I'd been hurt in love before. I knew she wasn't as composed as she seemed. I sighed, meeting her gaze seriously. Anna, I have to be honest with you. Right now, I can't say that I love you. But we're married. And if I'm ever going to fall in love with someone again, it's going to be you. I took a breath. I'll try. I'll try my best to fall for you. Just give me some time, okay? Okay. Anna reached out and hugged me. I've waited 10 years, of course I can keep waiting. Her voice trembled slightly before softening again. You're amazing, George. Loving you is the greatest blessing in my life. Can you make me even luckier? Fall for me a little sooner, will you? I will. I nodded seriously. I would fall for Anna, soon. A woman like her didn't deserve anything less. On New Year's Day, Anna and I went home to have dinner with my parents. My mom sighed emotionally. I just knew you two would be a good match. Seeing how well you get along now really puts my heart at ease. Anna and I just smiled without saying anything. The truth was, we'd been married for several months and we were still sleeping in separate rooms. But so what? We were getting closer day by day. It was only a matter of time before we became truly intimate. Just then my dad chimed in. Well, since you two are getting along, you should start thinking about having a baby soon. Your brother's kid is about to start kindergarten, you know. I nearly choked, coughing uncontrollably. Anna, however, just smiled gracefully and said, Sure, we'll listen to you and Mom. Once we left the house, Anna naturally took my hand and smiled. Don't worry, I'm not going to pressure you like they do. I just said that to make them happy. I know, I nodded. Of course I knew. The way things were between us now, this was all because of me. Anna was even helping me explain things to my parents. How could I not be moved? Our two families lived close by, so we just walked home hand in hand. And somewhere along the way, I suddenly thought, if life kept going like this, it really wouldn't be so bad. But that peaceful feeling vanished the moment I saw the person standing at our door. Willow. What was she doing here? Willow slowly turned around, staring straight at me. She seemed to ignore Anna completely, looking only at me with stubborn, desperate eyes. I've been waiting for you for a long time, she said. Why are you waiting for me? I replied calmly. And how did you even find out where I live? After so long apart, was the first thing she said to me really an interrogation? Willow let out a bitter laugh. I quit my job in C-City. I came to City A for you. I tried everything I could think of just to find your address. And now that I've finally found you, why are you so cold to me? Do you really need to ask? I said, my voice hardening. Don't you know what kind of relationship we have now? We broke up. We're not connected in any way anymore. I'm married now. Why are you still coming to find me? So what if you're married? Willow shouted. Do you love her? You two are just in an arranged marriage. You used to love me so much. There's no way you could fall for someone else that easily. Then she suddenly laughed. I probably seem like a total lunatic to you, don't I? I feel like I've lost my mind, like you've driven me insane. I said nothing. She wasn't wrong. She really did look like someone who had completely lost control. After laughing, Willow kept going. But so what? I love you. Even if that love drives me crazy. Even if people laugh at me. Even if I lose everything because of it, I don't care. Willow raised her right hand as she spoke. On her finger was the same ring I had given her when I proposed. See? You already proposed to me. I was just too scared back then. I only said no temporarily. I was always planning to marry you someday. Why couldn't you just wait for me? I stayed silent. I didn't even know how to communicate with Willow anymore. She was completely lost in her own delusions. No matter what anyone said, she wouldn't listen. Anna let out a cold laugh and pulled out her phone to make a call. What's going on with you guys? How did an outsider get in? She hung up and soon the security guards came running. They looked at Willow helplessly, then turned to explain. She's been loitering near the entrance of the community for days now. We've been refusing to let her in. We don't know how she sneaked in this time. That's our mistake. We'll take her out right away. I don't want to see this person at our doorstep again, I said calmly. Yes, of course, sir. Don't worry, we'll make sure of that. George, you can't do this to me. You can't treat me like this, Willow shouted as the guards dragged her away, still struggling. Anna didn't hold back. If you try anything like this again, I'll call the police. It wasn't until we were inside that Anna finally dropped her forceful exterior. She turned to me, looking a little uncertain. Are you mad at me? Mad? What for? I asked, confused. For the way I treated her, Anna said softly. Are you angry at me for that? Why would you think that? I sighed, gently patting her head. You're my wife. This is our home. She broke in and started saying all kinds of nonsense at our door. She was completely out of line. You drove her away. You did the right thing. Why would I blame you? I thought maybe you'd still feel bad about hurting her. Hearing Anna say that, I felt even more helpless. Why would you think that? I haven't contacted her at all these past few months. You saw her yourself. She refuses to listen to anyone. I don't know what else to do other than avoid her. Then let me handle it, Anna said seriously. You said it yourself. We're husband and wife. Your problems are mine too. If you don't know what to do, just leave it to me. Okay, I nodded. The truth was, I'd already tried everything I could with Willow. I spoke to her kindly, explained things clearly, told her again and again that there was no longer any possibility between us. I tried to end things on a good note, to give us both a little dignity. But she refused to listen. She quit her job and followed me all the way from C-City. If she cared about me this much now, then why had she cheated on me so recklessly back then? She hurt me so deeply. Did she really never think there would be consequences? But those were her mistakes. I had no obligation to pay the price for them. And I definitely didn't owe her endless patience. I wasn't that much of a fool. Inside the cafe, Willow was already waiting, early. I had finally agreed to meet her. But when the door opened, it wasn't me who walked in. It was Anna. What are you doing here? Willow's expression darkened immediately. Of course it's me, Anna said with a faint smile. Who did you think it would be? He's not going to see you. I just didn't want you bothering us again, so I came instead. What do you want from me? Do you even know how long we were together? What makes you think you can compare to me? Willow's tone was defiant, but only she knew how panicked she really felt inside. After all, Anna was my lawful wife, while she was just an ex-girlfriend who had made a huge mistake. I did a little digging on you, Anna said, raising an eyebrow. You did a lot of things to hurt George while you were together. A lot. You two broke up entirely because of you, because you betrayed that relationship. You pushed him away with your own hands. So what right do you have to regret it now? This is between the two of us. It's none of your business. Willow snapped, glaring at Anna. How did Anna even know all of this? Had I told her? Was I angry, furious? Did I hate her? Anna ignored her rage. No, there are still things you don't know, she said calmly. Your dear friend Maria, her family had some business they needed my help with. So I gave her a little guidance. If she helped me with something, I'd work with her. Can you guess what that something was? Realization dawned on Willow. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Anna smirked. That's right. It was about you. About you and me. The first time, at the bar, when she asked if you had memory loss, George was already at the door. He heard everything. And Maria? She did that on purpose. She wanted him to hear it. The second time, Maria came to your house. She deliberately brought up those guys from your past, the ones you had messy history with. George was right outside the door again. Intentional. She said all that so George would hear. The third time, you and Maria staged that little performance, that act where you pretended to recover your memories. Of course, she played along, but afterward, she made sure George found out it was all fake. Anna's tone sharpened. You see? You're a joke. Everything you did was full of holes. George's heart was shattered long before this. So tell me, what makes you think you still have a chance to win him back? And you? Willow shot back, her eyes blazing. What gives you the right to scheme against us like that? Who even are you? How could you be so calculating, so manipulative, and now you're bragging about it? Then something shifted in her eyes. She suddenly looked almost triumphant. Anna, she said slowly, George used to love me so much, and you planned for us to break up. If he knew about this, do you think he'd forgive you? He'd probably be desperate to divorce you. Anna didn't flinch. Instead, she lifted her phone with a calm smile. On the screen, the call interface was clearly visible, an ongoing call. With me. Willow froze, staring in shock. How could she dare say all of that in front of me? But Anna simply smiled. I told him. I'd never lie to him about anything. Even if I committed crimes, did the worst things imaginable, I'd still let him know. That includes scheming against you. But have you ever thought, maybe the reason my plans worked is because you did something wrong in the first place? Anna's gaze was calm, unwavering. Back then I knew you two were dating, but I couldn't accept it. So I investigated you. I found out everything you did, how you faked amnesia. You messed around with other people behind his back. You lied to George. Of course he had the right to know the truth. Anna's voice was calm, almost too calm. I could have just told him directly, or I could let him discover it slowly. I chose the latter. And now you think you still have the right to argue with him? To make a scene? Even knowing all this, even knowing I was behind it, he still chose to stay with me. He asked me to come and persuade you to leave. Isn't that enough for you to understand? Willow was crying uncontrollably. He can't treat me like this. He sold our house. Our home is gone. I quit my job and came all the way to City A for him. He can't just do this to me. He never asked you to do any of that, Anna replied coldly. That was all your choice. Don't pin it on him. Your selfishness, your foolishness, your recklessness, they all helped me in the end. I should be thanking you. But between you and him, there is absolutely no chance left. This is your warning. If you show up again in front of him spouting nonsense about love or feelings, I will make sure you understand what it truly means to lose everything. With that, Anna stood up and left. Not far away, I was waiting in the car. I watched calmly as Anna walked over and sat beside me. So, this is what you wanted me to know, I said, letting out a tired sigh. I had often wondered before why I always just happened to learn the truth through Maria. But I never imagined Anna had a hand in it. Anna's eyes turned red. I've always wanted to tell you, but I didn't know how. No matter how I put it, it would make me sound like a manipulative, scheming bitch. And maybe I am one. She gave a shaky laugh. But you know what? I've gotten greedy. At first, I just wanted to marry you. But now, I want you to love me. I want you to love me without a single doubt. And sometimes I regret what I did. I'm sorry, All right, that's enough. I pulled Anna into a tight embrace. Thank you for being willing to tell me everything. If you hadn't helped me back then, I might still be falling for her lies. But you did keep it from me for a long time. And I'm still a little mad about that. As I said this, Anna's face instantly filled with tension. I avoided her gaze on purpose. So here's your punishment, I said softly. For the rest of your life, you're not allowed to keep anything from me again. Deal, she whispered, nodding without hesitation. Since I said that, it meant I was done holding it against her. Anna hugged me tightly. You're so good to me. I could only sigh. No one wants to be manipulated. No one wants to be made a fool of, led around in circles. But what was done was done. What else could I do? Was I really going to cut Anna off completely because of this? That wasn't going to happen. The most important thing was, Anna did all of this because she loved me, and for that, I could forgive her. Willow, unwilling to give up, caused a few more scenes afterward, but she couldn't even get close enough to see me. Anna guarded me strictly, never giving her a single chance to cause trouble. Eventually, Willow had no choice but to give up. She disappeared, and I could finally live in peace. I could finally settle down and enjoy life with Anna. And on a beautiful night, we naturally finally moved in together. On our first wedding anniversary, Anna was acting mysteriously. She told me she had a surprise for me. I didn't ruin her excitement. I just smiled and agreed. On the way home, I kept wondering, what kind of surprise could it be? But no matter how much I thought about it, I couldn't guess. After all, anything Anna called a surprise could never be something ordinary. It wasn't until I stepped through the door and saw Anna standing up from the couch with a smile that I finally understood. She walked up to me and gently placed my hand on her belly. Her stomach was still soft and flat. I didn't understand at first, but Anna just smiled. In a few months, she whispered, you're going to be a dad. I froze. 3 months ago, we had just moved in together, and now I was going to have a child. Anna gave me all the time I needed to let the news sink in. I stood there stunned for a long while, then finally smiled. Wife. This is amazing. This is the best gift I could ever ask for. I lifted Anna into my arms and gently set her down on the couch. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really the luckiest man alive to have met you. No, Anna said sincerely. I'm the lucky one. She was the salvation that fell from the sky when I was just a teenager, the safe haven called home in my 20s, and the partner I would spend all the days and nights of the rest of my life with. I held Anna tightly, as if I never wanted to let go again. Back then, I really thought I didn't deserve happiness anymore. I had exiled myself, prepared to live in loneliness forever, but I never expected to find true love waiting just around the corner. I looked at her and spoke from the heart. Anna, I love you. I love you too, she said, eyes brimming with tears. I've loved you for many years. She had finally gotten the answer she had waited so long to hear, and Anna wept with joy. She had waited so many years for this day, and now it had finally come. The 13th time Willow was rejected in a job interview, the interviewer told her, politely but clearly, that though there wasn't a position for her in City A, the company had branches in many other cities. She was welcome to apply anywhere but not here. That was the moment Willow finally realized. Someone didn't want her working in City A, this massive city, and yet not a single company dared to hire her. She opened her phone. That same account had posted something again. A year ago, right after I had broken up with her, a stranger's account had added her. At first, she hadn't thought much of it, but not long after, she started seeing me in the posts. The honeymoon trip, the dinners, the shopping trips, the movie nights. Everything Anna and I did together, posted in vivid detail. Willow knew exactly who it was. It was my wife, Anna. And she knew why Anna had added her, to let her see it all, to show her everything she had lost, to make sure she regretted it, to remind her that she had ruined everything and that there would be no second chance. That day, Anna had posted a photo of a pregnancy test. 2 pink lines. She was pregnant. And all of Willow's persistence over the past year now felt like a cruel joke. She had quit her job, left C-City, moved to City A, all for the sake of winning me back. She couldn't even see me one last time. and now she had to witness the joy of me becoming a father. But who could she really blame? Wasn't all of this exactly what she deserved? Hadn't she brought it on herself? This was the life she chose. So who else could she hold responsible? In the end, Willow gave up completely. Why had she been so afraid when I proposed to her? Why had she done something so absurd, so destructive? It all traced back to when she was a little girl. Her father had abandoned her and her mother. He'd started a new family somewhere else and left them behind. So even now, if Anna hadn't been pregnant, even if we were already married, Willow could have convinced herself to keep being shameless. To be that woman, the homewrecker, the other woman chasing some so-called true love. But Anna was pregnant, and Willow had to ask herself, would she really want a child to grow up the way she had? The answer was no. So whether she wanted to give up or not, this time she had no choice. With a bitter smile, Willow deleted Anna from her contacts. If City A had no place left for her, then she'd leave, start over in a different city. But she knew she'd never be happy again. She had made too many mistakes. She deserved this, to lose the one she loved, to live in loneliness forever. Once, all she had ever wanted was a home, a person to love. But after finally getting those things, why had she thrown them away with her own hands? This was karma. She had brought this upon herself. She had said, I regret it countless times, but regret could no longer change anything.